You ladies are all doing well today. Yeah, and we'll keep this short and sweet, but basically learned something, a new way to help make your team's experience better. So hoping you learned something new today. Um, yeah, so that's our goal. So Nearpod, trying to make our Microsoft Teams meetings more interactive for kids. There's just a few of us. Yeah, if you just either type in the chat box these answers, so your name, school, how was your team's experience last semester, and what do you wish you could do on Teams? Either type that in, or feel free to unmute yourself and share briefly. So I'll give you a moment to do that.
I think I'll just say it out loud because I don't feel like typing it. But last semester, I think my experience was pretty good. Of course, it wasn't like as interactive, but I kind of try to make it interactive by like having them pick colors and stuff like that and things. But that's why this semester I got a different account, I guess. So now I have a whiteboard that they can use with me. So it's cool.
Yeah, thanks, Sienna. Yeah, and I think an overall something, when we first started doing virtual literacy mentoring, it was through Tutorfly. And I don't know if any of you ever used Tutorfly, but you might have seen it on the training. And it offered more interactive things than Teams offers. And so that's why we learned something new over the break, and we're trying to make Teams more interactive. But I appreciate you, like Sienna, thinking creatively on ways to keep kids engaged. So thank you. Yeah, we wish you had more interactive games. Good. I'm glad to hear that overall it was a good semester, that you made it work. Yeah, but hopefully what you learned today will help make it even better. All right, so keep rolling those in. Anyone else want to share out? All right, well, we'll keep going. Okay, so what we're going to do today, here's a quick agenda. I'm going to give you a few general Teams updates, and then we'll move into Nearpod. So that's the main resource that you'll be learning about. So you'll learn about what is Nearpod. You'll try Nearpod out as a student. I'll show you how to set up a Nearpod account, and then how you can set up a lesson on Nearpod. So it's a new website that you're using in conjunction with Teams. And then questions, and then I'll also, at the end, just give you practice time, and I'll stay on. And if you want to practice, and if you have to go, you can go, but if you want to stay on and practice, then we can try it out together. Okay, so first, just a few general updates. So on our website that you all are very familiar with now, with all the different play options, you'll notice here, we learned from you all last semester. So like Sienna and Stephanie had made some great slides to work with kids. And we found that that was a good way on Teams, instead of just pulling up individual PDFs and trying to work with kids that way. We found that it was better to have a slide, because then you could often write on the slide, and you could keep the lesson better structured that way. So we added all of that to our website. We put some starter slides. So if those of you who weren't using slides last semester, I'll go ahead and show you real fast. So if you weren't using slides, PowerPoints last semester, you can try that out this semester. That's a quick, easy way. So you'll notice they're all here. So like ABC book starter slides look like, they're loading. Or not. Here we go. So here's like the ABC book starter slides. So you could write in the student's name, your name, and then you can go through the slides as you're working with them, and even then draw on them yourself as well. Why are we not switching? So you can write on them. Welcome. And it was a great idea that Sienna and Stephanie and many of you others had on like how to keep your work gathered together. So you'll notice here, I don't know why it's switching on the main part, but all the different PDFs are uploaded on here, some of the activities, and then you can always add in new slides and then make a different set of slides for each kid that you're working with. And that's an easy way to then keep track of where those kids are at too. So those are there for you. And then we had asked all of you like just different, like how did you make your team's engagement? Like how did it go well? And we kind of compiled your feedback here. So feel free to read through. Some of this might look familiar to you because it's things you wrote. But some people found rewards. You know, I used a point system to keep track of who was winning. And as we did racing or drawings, found excitement and things like that. YouTube videos, people suggested Jack Hartman videos, individualized plans. So you'll find different websites and things that people used. So that's all on our website now as just some more general ideas on how to make things on Teams work better. Any questions about that? And thank you to all of you for being trailblazers and helping create those examples and give us new ideas. So we appreciate you. Okay, so Nearpod. We heard about Nearpod from Pyle Elementary. So Fresno Unified, they bought an account with Nearpod, like their curriculum executive people bought Fresno Unified an account for Nearpod. Some teachers are rolling it out sooner than others. So I know that Pyle Elementary, their kids are going to be pretty familiar with it because all of the teachers are using it. I don't know if the other sites, it kind of varies teacher by teacher, because as you know, some teachers are more tech savvy than others. So some are going to want to try it out and some are not going to want to try it out just yet. So there's a chance that your kids are familiar with it, but there's a chance that they're not. So just roll with that. But it's basically a way to make, like it says here, to make any lesson interactive, whether in the classroom or virtual. The teacher can create interactive presentations that contain quizzes, polls, videos, collaborate boards, and more. So what we're going to do is we are going to try that out as a student. So we'll get to it more in a second, but I want you to first be able to try it out as a student. So you go to nearpod.com. I already made an account and we'll get to that. I'm going to click on live participation and I'm going to send you all the link so you all can join this lesson. And so you're joining it as if you were a kid. So I'm going to get the link and I'll show you this again. I'm going to copy that link and I'm going to send it to you in the chat. So in the Zoom chat, you just got a link. So go ahead and click on that link to join in our lesson. And it should show me as you join in, it should show right here the people that are joining in. And of course, it's built for teachers, so you could have multiple kids. Of course, when you're working with kids, you're just going to have you and the one child. And so that shows me, perfect, Avneet, Samantha, Tiffany all got in. I'll give you a moment. Again, the chat's in Zoom. You'll click on that link. And I think it just, remind me, ladies, did it just ask you for your name? That's all it asked for, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so if you have kids who aren't great typers, like you can tell them just put a letter, like they don't have to type their whole name, whatever's easiest. And so you would be, well, but you would be sending that link via Teams because that's what you're already with the kids on. 6 of us, I think that's everybody. So I know you can see it. So I guess I want you to see it both as a student and a teacher. So I'll keep sharing. As I switch slides, it'll switch slides for you too. So now you should see the About Me on your part, while you're participating. And now this About Me, I switch now as a Draw It. So you should now be able to draw on the About Me. So go ahead and give it a try. Put your name in there, draw a picture in it. And you'll see on my end, I can see a waiting drawing until you submit it. Is that working? Is it letting you draw? Yes. Okay, good. All right, so yeah, it's in, I can see now it's in progress. Oh, and I can even see Julie put in that she's 22. Tiffany's working on it. Samantha put an L in there, hit submit. Cecilia's got her name on it. Sienna's still working on it. So if you go back into Zoom, you'll see as I'm sharing my screen what I'm seeing on my end, but then what you're doing on your end as well. Perfect. I'm gonna move on. How do you feel? Go ahead and draw, circle in how you're feeling. Avneet submitted, she's feeling happy. And so see, I can click on hers and see it. And so you can't both actively draw on one page together at the same time, but this is giving the kids a chance to interact with things, you know, like and gives them a chance to circle on things and write in things. So I'm gonna move on. And all of these slides, you know how I just showed you on our page, the starter slides, that's what we're working on right now. I had just uploaded those. I had just uploaded those into this lesson. Let me move on. And so I made the tic-tac-toe a draw it, you could draw. I made the what do kids like a draw it. You get the point. You could draw on that one too. But then I do want to show you, so any questions about the drawing aspect of it? Okay.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
you can draw at the same time, like you would adhere to like a tic-tac-toe game with them.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't figured out how. Yeah, I haven't figured out how you would make the tic-tac-toe work because you can't both actively draw on the same one at the same time.
Okay.
So that is a bummer. But I'm not an expert on this, and you might find a way. So once you get on, like play around and see if there is a way. You should now, it should be showing you a fill in the blanks. And so you're moving I just created that one simple sentence and you're moving your answer, you're moving the words into the right spot. Perfect. And then it's showing me, Avneet got 2 out of 2. She did it correctly. So did Cecilia, so did Julie. I think, I don't know how I see exactly what you did. Again, I'm still figuring this out too, so I don't have it all figured out. But I mean, I can see you got it correct. I know it would be nice to see exactly what the kids clicked on too. But I'm not sure. Those of you, oh, so I know a couple of us just joined in. Hi, ladies. I'm showing them Nearpod on here, and we will. It is in the chat. If you want to join, it might be too late to join the class. Let me recopy it for you. Those of you who just joined, if you want to join the lesson we're on, you'll just click that link and type your name in that I just put in the chat. So the fill in the blanks is another activity that you can create to do with kids. And then this one is a pairing activity, so matching the pairs. So I had just pre-made, you know, different pairs of sight words, and then you get to now match and try them out. Maybe if I click on, yeah, on these ones, I don't know how you actively see what they're doing. That's the only bummer. Hi, Giselle, welcome.
Hello.
but I can see your total response. Anyways, as we get to practice time later, maybe we will figure out how you can see exactly what kids put down. And then one more activity and then you can also upload in websites as you want. I think, does it let you now click on that website and play?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Yeah, so then you can also, upload in a website and let them click on that website and play. So I am gonna leave this session, that game. So any initial thoughts? It should have kicked you out of the game, out of the session now too, correct? Are you all still in the session?
Yeah, I think I'm still in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
You just have to click the arrow and then I'll say exit and then ask you no or yes if you want to leave.
There might be, I guess I'm wondering on my end how I stop a session. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be easier if we'd be able to stop the session for them.
Yeah, there probably is a button. There might be somewhere on here where it tells you your live sessions. Anyways, initial thoughts on what could you see being helpful about that, not so helpful?
Because I share my stuff, I share my screen so they can like see it. I feel like this makes it like easier for them to see, like especially like when we're going over the passages. Sometimes I have to like zoom in and kind of like slide it so they can see it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of this makes it clear for them. I think like as for like the writing portion, since I have like the whiteboard now, like I just kind of like use that and it's like easier for me on that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's good.
But the added games are pretty cool.
Yeah, and so maybe I could see you using these extra added games as a good way to assess kids too. Like we've practiced together. Look, here's your little test, and then you can see how that went at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because Erica used it last night too, and I think it was just really easy to navigate because it told you like where to go and what to do. But I think the only problem would be if a lot of the students have tablets, like it'll log them off their video if they're going to open a different tab. Because I think that's happened to us before when I try to share a page with them. So it's just a little bit harder to navigate with the tablet.
Oh, good point. Good point. So on tablets, you can only be on one thing at a time. You can't stay on Microsoft Teams and log into something else. Oh, good to know. Thanks, Giselle. Yeah.
I mean,
So
I'm not sure if it's like that on laptops too. Like that was my concern originally, where like if they got a different link, it would redirect them somewhere else and they wouldn't know how to like get back on Teams if there's like no adult present.
yeah, I hear you. Yes. Yeah. So it could get complicated. I think it depends. I do think kids are a little more tech savvy than we realize. So I think they kind of, in some ways, I think they, depending on the child, I think they figure out how to get back and forth between things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good points. And it's always something you could try out once, and then if it doesn't work that great and it's too confusing, then you just, okay, we tried it, and well, but if you're
Yeah.
working with multiple kids, I'd say, multiple kids at different times, I'd say try it with each of them at least once, because some of them might really figure it out and really engage with it right away, and others it might not work that well for, and that's okay too. So I wanted to show you, so you kind of experienced it as a kid, and so now we're going to have you try setting up an account. So on Nearpod itself, so you'll just go, if you want to go ahead and on your computer, go to nearpod.com. And you'll sign up for free. So up on the top right, nearpod.com. And I signed up just with, you can link it to your Google or to your Office 365 if you'd like. I just signed up with my everyneighborhood.org email because that's the one I use the most. So you, whichever way you'd want to. And so we're just getting the free easy access account. So far it's worked out well. They don't send a terrible amount of spam email. So I've only gotten a few ads, but it lets you get access to most things. And now, you know, so go ahead and go through that right now if you like. I'm already signed up, so I'm not going to do that. Let me log in. So Nearpod, nearpod.com.
Doesn't matter what we put for like the role, because it's like select your primary role.
I think I put teacher. Yeah, does it, what are the options? Teacher, student? Is that what it says?
Yeah, teacher, instructional coach, student, library media specialist.
I put teacher. And then I think what it does with that is it just gives you access to the Nearpod library too. So there are some of them we don't have access as a free user, but you do have access to some of them even as a free user. So you could even look through here sometime and look at all the first grade lessons about English arts, and you might find something that you like in here too. So I think that's why you got to put in that you're a teacher, because it'll give you access to some of those things.
Okay.
Is that working out for everybody? Everyone who's trying it right now? And Nearpod does offer free trainings too. So I went to like 2 of their trainings that the organization Nearpod itself runs just via Zoom or whatever format they used. And that was also helpful. So if it's something that as you start working on Nearpod, you're like, hey, this is kind of cool, I want to learn more things, feel free to join any of their trainings too. And it's kind of one of those things that you just kind of mess around with. And like, once you start messing around, you find new things. So, so once you're in, if you want to go ahead and try making a new lesson. So if you hit, it should take you to my library. The join a lesson is like if you were a kid and someone gave you a code, or like if 2 of you wanted to practice together, that you could share the code. Reports, my library is where you'll spend most of your time. Reports, it's more for if you have like a full course. Like this shows the report of how you all did. I don't think you'll need to use it much when you're just working with one student. That Nearpod library, like I showed you before, is access to a bunch of other different videos and lessons and activities that you are free to use if they match your students' needs. And teacher resources as well.
I don't think I have the, like, what does the beginning say? Does it say my library in your front one?
Yeah. So if you go,
There's my lessons right there where it says my library.
if you're on my library, you won't have any lessons yet. It might say explore the Nearpod library. Are you able to find this page, Santa, without lessons yet? Because I know you haven't made any.
Yeah, I'm on this page, but like where yours says my library right there, mine says my lessons. Will it like say that when I like add things or something?
Maybe, yeah, because maybe I have like a library of lessons now. Yeah, that's strange. That's strange. But does it give you, so right, does it say my lessons and then create?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where you'll start creating your lessons. The main button I've used is lessons, like create, down toggle to lessons. I haven't tried adding in videos, and you actually can't do Google Slides unless you are a higher level paid, you pay for your account. But you can do create lessons. And then you can just go, So you could go slide by slide, and this is where, so, we went to create a new lesson. It's untitled. I can call it practice, and you could just make a practice one for yourself. You could go slide by slide and put in like each thing that you would like. Where you find those fun activities is when you slide over to activities. This is where you can make the matching pairs that you got to try out earlier, where you can make a draw it, where you can make a fill in the blank. So if we want to make a fill in the blank slide, you could choose whatever text color you'd want here. And we could say, I want to play with the dog. And then you choose which words that you want taken out. So I'm going to take play and with out of that sentence. And now those are the ones that the child has to fill in. And then it's done. So now we've made that fill in the blank slide. And I can click on it again and edit it, I believe. How do I edit it? Or preview it? Oh, preview down here at the bottom. And that'll show you a quick student preview of what they would see on that slide. So just like you all saw, I want to, and then they're going to move up, play, and with. So that's just viewing a preview real fast of how it's going to look. So you can go slide by slide that way if you'd want, or you can also just upload. So if you already have, if you want to use the ones like from our website, like where it's already a PowerPoint already made, you can just upload those in. So I had those saved to my desktop, the book one starter slides. And I can just put that in and it uploads all of it. Oh, it's processing, so it's coming. But then once it's in here, then you can also get rid of, if you don't want that slide anymore, you could delete it. If you want to move the slides around in the order. And I'll show you how we converted it to draw it in a second once it loads up. Here we go. So it initially, this is, all the slides we just practiced with. They're initially just put in as view only, but let's say this about me. I want to convert that one to a draw it. I'm going to say either you want to keep an original copy of it or you can just make it a draw it copy. Either way. So I can say no. I'm going to make it just a draw it. And making it a draw it is the, now the kid, it's the kind that the child can write on. When it's just a view without the draw it, they can't write on it. So you need to convert that one to a draw it and then they can draw on it.
And will it stay on there? Like if you were to like exit from Nearpod, will it still, like whatever they draw on there, will it still be there?
That's a good question. Let's go back and see what it did to you all from our other lesson that we just did. Oh, so this is that one I was making. Let's save the changes. And here's the one that we did earlier. Let me. Oh, so this is why you all are still active in the session. So I'm gonna say, okay, so that session's no longer active. I don't think it saved it, Sienna. And maybe.
Is it under the report for that? Like,
it might.
section?
That's a good point. Yeah, let me see. Hit reports.
No.
No data. Oh, well, no, here's reports. Yeah, because that was the one we just did together with 8 students. Let's see what it shows us though. Under the draw it. It shows what you all drew here, but I don't know how we make that same session. So it's here, but I don't know how we make that same session active again. There might be a way. Like if we relaunch. That's a good question. And maybe as we all get on and practice and play, we can see if we can figure it out. So I don't have the answer. So it looks like it doesn't fully save exactly what you all did. Maybe unless we keep it open and don't end the session, but I know you'd probably need to end the session eventually. So from what I see, Sienna, I think it closes it once we close it, because it's kind of like that lesson is done. So I think most teachers are probably using it as in like, this is today's lesson, we did it, here's your exit ticket, your test, and now we're done. And so then like the next time they start a new lesson, which I know doesn't match exactly what you all do. Like what you all do is kind of an ongoing lesson. So maybe it would work better as, and like maybe not putting the about me on there, because that's something that you're putting on every week, or putting the sight words on there because that's something you're doing every week, but maybe putting some of the games and activities that you're going to just do that one week and then it would close out. Any other questions about creating these lessons? All right. Yeah, and there's other, I honestly haven't looked at all of these contents, so there might be other videos and things you can input. And of these activities, you might want to use some of the other ones too. Some of them make more sense for a bigger class, like time to climb is an activity where you get to see like versus other kids as you're climbing up a mountain, like how many questions you answered right. That probably wouldn't work as much in one-on-one. Or like the collaborate board is one where you get to see all the kids' answers on sticky notes. Again, not good for one-on-one, but some of these other things, matching pairs, fill in the blanks, those could help you out in a one-on-one setting, the memory test. So it's one of those things I feel like you can't break it. So you might as well just pop in, make things, play around, and see how it works, and see if anything, I think kids will just be excited to have a new activity, something new to try. And so if you are going to try it out with kids, like once you're ready, you have it made, you would hit, ooh, didn't mean to do that so fast. Let me show you. Just like we did earlier, student paced means it's like a homework assignment, like you want them to do it later. You probably won't use that unless you just want to give it to them as an ongoing work. Live participation in Zoom would open up a Zoom link for you. I haven't tried that, but we typically aren't on Zoom, so also I wouldn't do that. But you'll hit live participation. And then this is that code where you'd get the link and copy and then paste it in. So kids could do two things. This seems a lot more complicated, but they could go to join.nearpod.com and type this in. Obviously, that might be a little complicated, but otherwise you can just copy this link and send it to them on Teams via the chat and tell them, okay, click on that. It's going to take you, and tell them type in their name or part of their name, and then they'll start in. And once you start it, like you saw before, they only see whatever you're on. So they only go page by page as you move them page by page. So if you're still wanting them, okay, you're still working on about me, I don't believe they can move on to the next one until you move on to the next one for them. And I actually don't know what that is. Hey, there's also a virtual whiteboard in here. Just discovered that. So I know you have that on Microsoft Teams too, but if you ever wanted to open a virtual whiteboard, that's right there for you too. All right, well, that was the bulk of it. So we did all these things, tried it out as a student, try to make an account, setting up a lesson. Yeah, so any questions? Or also now is just time open for practice for you all. So if you want to stay on and try these things out, you can invite me in as a student and we can try things out together. Because you can see I'm still learning too. And I think you all will find cool things on here too. And one other note Sienna mentioned earlier was about Microsoft Teams, the virtual whiteboard in Teams. If you're not on with the V access yet, let me know. Or if we've been talking about it, I'm talking to Fresno Unified and trying to get you all on. So if you're not on yet, stay on and we can talk about that too. All right. And my overall is just thank you that that virtual teaching and learning is hard. And I promise that every teacher we talk to is having a hard time too. It's just hard to keep kids engaged and coming regularly. Kids are going through a lot, but what you do is really important. They do as much as, sometimes it feels long and tedious and like they just want to go. They also, I know that the kids really appreciate the one-on-one time with you and feeling like they can be listened to and they're important. So thanks for continuing to try in this crazy world.